Hey everyone, here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. Governor Mills is in Portland talking with state and local leaders about how to handle the influx of asylum seekers arriving here.
Plus, what the state of Maine is doing to hire more lifeguards to protect your kids at the beach this summer.
If somebody called you ugly, I'm assuming you wouldn't like it very much. But tonight we're going to meet somebody who apparently is fairly happy he's ugly. His name is Tostito. Yes, he's a dog from Maine. He's trying to be the world's ugliest dog. We'll meet him coming up. This is News Center Now.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Nelson. Glad you're with us this evening. In the news tonight, Governor Janet Mills has been in Portland this afternoon at a meeting with federal and city leaders about the influx of asylum seekers from African countries. That meeting just ended.
Yeah, it happened at Merrill Auditorium. It was to discuss a larger coordinated response to the situation. In opening remarks, Governor Mills said helping asylum seekers is not just an issue Portland will deal with alone. She called for unity, urging other Maine communities to step up and help like South Portland has offered to do.
Portland City Manager John Jennings also provided an update on the number of people at the Expo, which is, as you probably know, serving as an emergency shelter. 157 asylum seekers were at the shelter last night. The city has processed 227 people total. Over $200,000 has been donated already to Portland's relief effort. Meantime, we have heard some questions from viewers regarding the health status of those people arriving in Portland from Africa and up through Mexico.
Yeah, there are two questions we've seen people ask on social media. Is the Democratic Republic of Congo currently Ebola stricken, and are these people a risk? We verify. Congolese immigrants are among the hundreds from African countries who are expected to arrive in Portland from the border this week. Our sources, the city of San Antonio, Texas, the city of Portland, Customs and Border Protection, and the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization has reported a lot in the last month on an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, it is true, Congolese refugees come from a country experiencing an Ebola outbreak. If you stop there, though, you miss important information. Portland City Manager John Jennings in a news conference earlier this week.
There have been some unfounded rumors, specifically focusing on the health of the individuals who are transiting to Portland or who are coming into our country, which are categorically untrue. U.S.
Customs and Border Patrol confirmed to our verified team that they monitor all immigrants to the country and have tests to identify cases of Ebola. They've had no encounters with Ebola along the southern border. While Congo is having an Ebola outbreak, immigrants from the country are tested and there's no evidence that they're carrying any dangerous virus into the U.S.
All right, so a lot of you have reached out asking how you can help, and there are some ways you can help. One, obviously, by donating money. The city has set up a text to donate line. Text EXPO to 91999.
And those who are wanting to volunteer their time today, we finally have an answer to that. The United Way of Greater Portland is accepting volunteers, and joining us with more information on that is Senior VP of Resource Development, Matt Wolcott of United Way of Greater Portland. Thanks for being here, Matt.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thanks, Lee.
So what's the first step? People are urgent. They want to help. They want to donate their time if they can't donate money. So what can they do?
Sure. Well, there's been an outpouring of support in all forms from this community. So it's really, really amazing, very humbling. United Way of Greater Portland is honored to be working in partnership with the city and the resources to really be the intake entry point for volunteers looking to get involved during this developing situation. So if volunteers or interested folks in the community are wanting to get involved, they can simply go to unitedwaygp.org/asylum, or go to our website or social media channels, or certainly to the city's website, and we'll direct you towards an intake form, which then allows folks to tell a little bit about what their skill set is.
What their skills are, sure,
Yep.
and then how they can help. Have you ever dealt with anything like this before?
So United Way is no stranger to dealing with various crises nationally and internationally. Here in Greater Portland, We've been doing this for some time, though we don't have anything to compare this to in recent memory. This happens to be our 90th anniversary year, so we've been mobilizing the community for 90 years now. So we've done this a couple times in various forms.
You were just at that meeting that the governor was at, which just wrapped up. You left early so that you could be here with us. Thank you for that. But what was it like for you to see, federal, local leaders there in one room, talk with other agencies such as the United Way of Greater Portland, trying to come together to work on this developing situation?
Sure. It was really wonderful to see all the different agencies, all the different partners and resources coming together. There was a wonderful moment where U.S. Customs and Border agent spoke to the audience, really debunked some information, shared a little bit more about their role in this whole process, both at the U.S. southern border and here in the state of Maine. And it was just a really wonderful testament to the community rallying together for what is really a humanity situation.
And we're hoping to hear more about that in our later evening newscast as well. So thank you so much for being here and for your continued help. And let's turn things over to Keith, see what's going on outside weather-wise. Hey, Keith.
It was kind of a weird day, right? As we talked about, we had some clouds in there, some sun in the middle part of the day, and then some showers. And thunderstorms ongoing right now. They're convective. You can see them kind of pushing up into the atmosphere, into the mountains particularly. Thought the strike zone might have been farther south, but the heaviest thunderstorm activity is actually right now over northern Maine. Let's zoom in there. You can see a couple of these thunderstorms coming through. Nothing severe with these storms, it appears. Just a little lightning, some heavy downpours, and they're relatively thin in their presentation, meaning they move through pretty quickly. Nice little cell here, probably going to clip just into Greenville in about 20 minutes or so. That has a pretty good look to it. It might have perhaps some small hail to it, and then just a couple of showers and thunderstorms popping up to the west as well. Coming off Sebago, those are just pop-up showers. Some of these are coming through for 5 or 6 minutes and then moving on. That's kind of the pattern we're in through the rest of today. Temperatures upper 60s, low 70s. Those showers tend to wind down later tonight when the sun sets, and we're in good shape for tomorrow. We should be partly cloudy to mostly sunny. Guys, temperatures upper 70s, some low 80s by tomorrow afternoon. Not as good as last weekend. That's going to be hard to repeat, but overall a pretty good weekend coming up.
Okie dokie. Yeah. One thumb up and one thumb sideways.
Exactly.
How about that? That sound good? All right, let's check out some news. Maine State Police provided an update today on the investigation into the death of Trooper Ben Campbell back on April 3rd.
They showed a close-up presentation of the scene, pointing out where Campbell was standing by the driver's side of the car he was assisting. The outside wheel of the tractor trailer came just to the right of Campbell's cruiser, making black marks on the right side of the SUV while passing by, and then it struck Campbell. Nearly simultaneously, state police say about a second later, the inside wheel traveled and went just to the left of the cruiser. A wheel made contact with the guardrail and was then guided by that guardrail to the area where Campbell was standing. It was that wheel that state police say hit the front of the vehicle Campbell was assisting. And Jackie Mundry will have much more on this story throughout the next 90 minutes here on News Center Maine. John Williams will not testify during his murder trial.
And we had heard he would at first. Williams, of course, the man accused of killing Somerset County Sheriff's Deputy Eugene Cole in Norridge Walk in April of last year. A couple of psychologists took the stand for the defense today. One testified that people who are under the stress of isolation, hunger, fatigue, and pain can lose the ability to make decisions and could have affected Williams' decision-making process when he confessed to detectives that he shot and killed Corporal Cole. In addition, specialists told the jury that Williams was doing an extraordinary amount of drugs and would not have been able to make rational decisions that evening. The prosecution then brought in a rebuttal witness who said Williams knew full well what he was doing. Closing arguments could happen as soon as Monday. And we'll check some other headlines for you now. President Trump backtracking today on something he said earlier in the week. He said today that, quote, of course he would go to the FBI or the Attorney General if a foreign power offered him dirt about a political opponent. This is a walkback from comments earlier this week that he might not contact law enforcement in such a situation. Trump, in an interview this morning with Fox and Friends, said he would, of course, look at the information in order to determine if it was, quote, incorrect, but added that, of course, you give it to the FBI or report it.
Well, Maine has another lifeguard shortage for state parks. We'll see what the state's doing to try and fix this ongoing problem.
All right, last week we told you about a dog in Falmouth that's kind of unattractive. Maybe the ugliest dog in the world. We'll have Tostito's story coming up in a bit. All right, we're back with this. The New York State Assembly has passed some legislation that would prohibit companies from charging different prices for men's products versus women's products that are similar. We're talking about things like shampoo and shaving cream, razors, etc. Why? Well, because a study done in New York found that women's prices are 7% higher than prices for men's products. So the bill now moves to the state Senate in New York for further consideration.
Are you hooked on the HBO show Chernobyl? I actually binged the whole thing.
And you told us about it, and we just started watching
Did you watch?
it. So,
oh,
yeah.
Good. So we'll talk. We'll talk when you finish it. It's only 5 episodes. A lot of people are, and it's having an effect on tourism. I saw this earlier this week on Instagram. It's kind of disturbing, but one travel agency in the Ukraine says it's seen a 40% rise in bookings to Chernobyl since the show started airing in May. Of course, that's the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster. It's been abandoned ever since. And that meltdown, that explosion and then meltdown happened in 1986. The area around the plant still has the feel of a post-apocalyptic world. There are stray dogs wandering around and vegetation has encroached on the abandoned buildings. There's still radiation in the air, but it has been deemed low enough in certain areas that it's safe for a short visit. But if you search that on Instagram, you'll see people are posing on these buildings and these structures and I don't know, you just got to be careful.
Would you go?
I don't think so.
I don't think I would either.
Yeah.
I don't think I would either.
No.
Yeah.
It's just.
It is very curious.
I think it's important that we're all learning about it, you know, by way of HBO and seeing maybe what may have played out.
Yeah.
But
It's interesting.
things are meant to be.
Interesting show.
Yes. Up next, we'll see how the state is trying to make the no lifeguard on duty sign a little more scarce this summer.
And Keith is going to let us know if good weather will be scarce or plentiful this weekend. All right, so you're headed to the beach with your kids. It can be a little unsettling if you see the sign, no lifeguard on duty.
Something I'll find out next summer, I suppose. Anyway, yeah, this is a problem that's been going on for a couple of summers in a row now. State parks especially are struggling to hire lifeguards. So the solution, they're raising the pay. Chris Costa explains if they think this will help.
I love the sand. I love that it's easy to bring my kids here.
Popham Beach State Park is full of families during the summer. Jenny Truby's kids play in the sand and are just getting brave enough to go swim. Sort of.
I'm watching my kids too, but sometimes you don't know, especially with the ocean.
Parents like Jenny are counting on an extra set of eyes on shore from lifeguards like Eddie Capolda.
You'd rather stop anything before it happens than let it happen and have to go out there.
Here at Popham Beach State Park, they have enough lifeguards to man all of the shifts, but that's not the case across the rest of the state. They're facing a double-digit shortage.
If somebody's distressed, it takes a whole team of people to be able to help them and get them out of the water and make sure that they stay safe.
To attract more applicants, the state is offering big pay raises, more than $14 an hour for new lifeguards, and they're willing to reimburse them for certifications too.
The more lifeguards we can have, the more we can ensure that the public is safe.
If you can't fill those 23 vacancies, what's going to happen at those state parks?
It'll be swim at your own risk.
Say that again.
Swim at your own risk.
It's not really a job that we want to show off. It's more of a we'd rather just keep people safe.
You know, I appreciate the fact that they're here and that they're watching and they're helping to keep my kids safe. They're more important than anything.
That was Chris Costa reporting. Lifeguard coordinators say they're also willing to have 2 candidates split 40-hour shifts, and there are openings all over the state. For a list of those, check out our website and mobile app.
All right. Boy, we saw people in the water in that story.
know.
What's the ocean temperature
That's gotta be
approximately?
foul footage, right?
I
It has to
don't
be.
know that it was.
I don't think it was.
The one with
that
the
was a
kids?
lifeguard. That
Oh,
was
with
Wednesday.
the kids, yeah.
That was Wednesday.
I don't know, it's
Yeah.
51, 52. Kids don't care though, you know that.
They really don't.
They don't care.
They don't. It's like taking a nice bath.
I don't know why that is. Like, there's got to be some psychological.
They're just maybe they're smaller. Their blood circulates faster.
No, I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how it works.
Is that a brain drop?
I don't know why. We should look into this. Why do kids not care about cold water? Maybe because they're doing it for different reasons than we do. You know what I mean? We go in for enjoyment and they're like exploring, perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just making that up. You can probably Google it. But anyways, here's the visible satellite. We had some nice breaks of sunshine in there. That led, though, to some showers and thunderstorms, which are relatively prevalent right now away from the coastline. Take a look at a couple of them. One batch into Aroostook County. That's actually petered out a little bit. Watch this little finger, though. Look at that. That little hook on the back end here. And just take a look at that storm as it continues to move over Aroostook County. Meanwhile, the cell that I told you about 5 minutes ago is blown up, that on its way to the south of Greenville here. That's a pretty good looking cell with some lightning in it. The rest of these are garbagey little cells, just a couple of showers, and they're moving very, very quickly, a few downpours. That will about do it. Those die down tonight when the sun sets. After that, it's clear for most of us, and tomorrow's a good looking day. I think we'll start partly cloudy and then end up sunny by about noon and then stay sunny through the afternoon. And the temperatures are going to respond nicely to that because we don't have much of a sea breeze tomorrow, a good amount of sunshine. The combination should get us to the mid-70s in most spots, low 80s in Sanford, Freiburg, the usual suspects, 78, 79 in Bangor. Just a little marine influence towards Rockland and Bar Harbor, but most of us, again, nice, comfortable, and dew points not all that high. Now, Father's Day is not quite as nice. We'll see a couple of showers come through in the morning, get a break in the middle of the day, and then a couple of thunderstorms possible in the afternoon. In a lot of ways, actually very similar to today, most likely, but increasingly humid on Sunday and into Monday. So you'll feel that difference in the air mass leading to these showers and thunderstorms. And then we're in pretty good shape on Monday with partly cloudy conditions by about mid-morning. Our general pattern here is interesting because last summer, if you remember, the Bermuda high was the reason we were so hot and humid. Well, we almost have a Bermuda high in place here, but this one has slunk too far to the south and southeast over the course of next week. And the result of that is that we pump in a lot of the moisture from Bermuda high, but we don't get the warmth that we did last year. So I think we're a little unsettled through next week, with showers possible on Tuesday and perhaps again on Thursday into Friday. Overall, not a bad week, but you know, the models keep delaying the big warmth. They had hinted it was going to happen late next week, and then they backed off it. Now they're trying to push it to next week. I don't know. We'll see if we get there. We continue this pattern that Lee and I have talked about of just doing spring on average. Right. We're just like plugging away at it, 70 degrees or so consistently through the week. We'll watch next Friday as maybe some rain, but that's it. There are almost no undulations in our temperature pattern here, which is pretty rare for mid-latitudes like Maine.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We'll take it.
Here's what it
but
is.
It could be worse. Yeah.
It could be way worse.
It was worse.
Could dip down.
Yeah,
That's what it could do.
Exactly.
Archie, thanks very much. Hey, they say the eye, or the beauty rather, is in the eye of the beholder, but ugliness, specifically the world's ugliest dog, that is determined every year by a panel of judges. Okay.
And this year, a friendly face here in Maine is in the mix. Sam York has the story.
Come on, Tiny. Come on, good boy.
From the moment Molly Horgan and Sammy Gardner met Tostito,
Tostito, sit.
They knew he was the one.
Good boy.
And I saw his face and I knew that I had to have him right away.
He's just like any other pup. He loves to run, is crazy about snacks, and can nap just about anywhere. There's just one difference.
The vet thinks that the teeth rot caused the bone to rot too from being neglected for so long.
Got some grass in your paws.
When Molly adopted him in 2017, Tostito was in pretty rough shape. His previous living conditions were so bad, it led to his lower jaw completely deteriorating.
A lot of people say, like, he's so ugly, he's cute, which is true. Like, he's just the goofiest looking dog.
But that goofy charm is paying off, and now it's capturing the hearts of people around the world.
Every day you get like a message that's like, oh, can I talk to you about Toad?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a lucky boy.
The trio will be jet-setting to California later this month, so Tostito can strut his stuff in an event like no other. the world's ugliest dog competition.
There's a red carpet thing that we get to walk down, and there's celebrity judges.
An award that might be insulting to some, but Molly and Sammy say they're honored.
It's all about just celebrating that every dog is really beautiful, and it's not an offensive thing at all.
To them, the competition is about much more than a trophy.
He's just unique. And
yeah.
Being ugly doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be loved.
It's about embracing our differences and loving what makes you, you. In Falmouth, Samantha York, News Center, Maine.
He's getting plenty of pats, so he's fine. The competition is June 21st in California. The winner gets a cash prize and a monetary donation to the animal shelter of their choice as well.
So let's hope for the animal shelters here in Maine's sake that Tostito brings home the crown.
Good luck, Tostito.
Yes. A lot more coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Cindy's here with a preview.
That's right. That man who was arrested in Maine for that cold case murder in Connecticut is going to be going back to Connecticut to face those charges. Mark Karam was before a judge today. We'll show you. And we're going to meet a power wheelchair soccer team from Wisconsin made up of teenagers and adults that's making a return trip to the national tournament this weekend. But that was after a heartbreaking loss in the championship last year. We're going to meet them all. This is pretty cool stuff. It's all ahead at 5:30. Back to you.
Those are cool wheelchairs.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
They're the power wheelchairs.
Wow, awesome. All right.
We're back after this.
All right, in the nerd world, pretty big deal. The American GFS model underwent an upgrade a couple of days ago to what's called the FV3 version. So it's a different gridding version. And some of the examples of the performance of it, actually this one was over the Northeast with the bomb cyclone that everyone was talking about in January of last year. So this is the GFS from last year. This was the model, the improved model, and then this is what actually happened. Oh. So you can see the advantage there. Yeah. They've been tracking this for several years. 3 years they've been running them in parallel. Last year we were able to get access to it as forecasters to take a look at it. I think it's got a lot of promise. The interesting thing about all of this is two main catalysts got the government to start putting more money into our weather forecasting. One was Sandy. After Sandy, when the European model got it right and the American model got it wrong, they passed a bill through Congress to spend more money on modeling. The other thing, frankly, is that forecasters like myself go on and talk about how much better the European model is than the American model, and that stokes. It's like how we went to the moon. Like, no, they're not going to get to the moon. We're going to get to the moon faster. Yeah, so in a way, this has all been good stuff. It's making it more competitive. However, the European model just went under a big upgrade a week ago as well.
Keeping up with the Joneses over here.
It reminds me of like Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
Ricky
true.
Bobby.
It is very Talladega Nights.
But it's all good. The race is in the right direction.
We'll all benefit from it. All right, News Center Maine at 5:30 starts now.